Hi, this is Emelbi. I'm an artist living and working in West Yorkshire in the UK, and today I just want to take you through one of my processes of drawing one of my loved characters. So this guy here, he's called Agent Milo. Yeah, Agent Milo. And he crops up quite a lot in my artwork. He changes sometimes, slightly changes his appearance every now and then, but then he is an agent, so, you know, it's his prerogative, I'd imagine. I recently did a video with him where I made a utensil out of a bean tin lid, and I drew Agent Milo in that video, which you can find just here. I put a link. You can have a look at that if you like. And that's the image that I drew with a bean tin lid. Yeah, a made utensil. So this guy crops up quite a lot. He gets drawn quite a lot. Like I say, his appearance changes every now and then, just depending on how I draw him. But he's a character that I do love drawing. It's quite like the structure of his face. It's one of those go-to characters that I draw quite a lot. See him over some printing. Got a lot of light on that image. There you go. So as you can see, he's a familiar character to me. Here he is again. So I just wanted to take you through the process. So I'm working in Procreate initially on the iPad, and then I'll take the image across to Photoshop and finish it in there using various textures and bits and pieces. Yeah, so I hope you enjoy this. Check it out. So first of all, super fast drawing of Agent Milo in Procreate, adding a bit of texture. I'm just separating shade from light on the face, putting some hatching in there, and then I want to warm up the right hand side of the face, so you've got warm and cold, where the light's coming from and where the shadow's being thrown. Put some light hatching in as well, add the texture, pop it over to Photoshop. You can change the canvas size up. I'm going to select all the black layer and then do a feather on it, 33 pixels. And then go and fetch these dots images that I've done quite often before on tutorials, and then remove the ones on the surround in the image, and then just remove the dots from the areas where light would be in the image, because I want that texture to be where the shadows are. Get another bit of texture, go and fetch that, copy and paste it in to a new layer, and then I'm just going to use selective colour to mess around with the colour of that texture just so it makes sense in the image. Then I'm going to mess with the line image and just put a bit more red in it, so make it warmer rather than it being black. And then where it's cold on the image, I'm just going to fill a bit more blue in there, so the line image will be red and blue. Add a bit more texture, and I'm just going to flick through this texture and look at some of the layer properties and seeing how it mixes through before I make a decision. And once I'm happy with it, I'll just copy it out and paste it in for real and sort of blend that in. It's coming together now. So next I'm just on one of those textures. I'm just using the dodge tool, and I'm using shadows, midtones and highlights just to pull out a bit of the detail. I'm quite happy with that. So what I'm going to do next is just select all the layers that make the face and make a copy of them. Once they've been copied, I'll hide them all because I'll keep them, I won't delete them. And the ones that I've made copies of, I'll flatten into a single image. So I've got them, this Agent Milo's face on one single layer, and then I'm going to just copy the shaded side, flip it horizontally and make one face out of that side of the face, and then the warm side where the light's coming on the right hand side, I'm going to make a face out of that side of the face. So you've got two symmetrical faces made out of the original mask. And then I'm going to work on the background. So I've got these guys, so I'm going to pull up this texture used before. I'm going to stretch it across the canvas, and once I've got it, because it's a black and white image, I'm going to go to channels, and whilst holding down command or control on a Windows machine, I'm going to hit the RGB channel, and that will select everything that's white. And when I've made that selection, I'll do a new layer, fill it with orange, and then I'll invert that selection and make two images filled with blue, and then flip one of them over, so I've got this symmetry involved in the background with that texture. and then I'll just mess around with some of the properties to get the colour right. Next thing I'm going to do, using the rectangular marquee tool, I'm just going to select the areas to make a border, and when I've made that border, fill it with blue on a new layer and then blur it, and then just size it across the canvas so I get this vignette, so it almost frames the image. And now that's done, I'm just going to play around with I've got some pre-made brushes that I use quite often with splats and splashes and different textures. So I'm just going to play around and build up a load of texture in the background over a couple of layers, and then just blend them through using sort of the blend modes on the layer effects, and just see how that turns out. So once I've done that, I'm just going to mess with the one or two of those layers. I'm just going to mess with the hue and saturation. I'm just going to make sure that it makes sense in the image. And just make sure I get the colours right, basically. Then I'm going to drop this pink texture on, pinkish texture in the background. I'm going to make a mask, a layer mask, using the faces images, so that texture isn't affected across the mask. So I'm going to paint them back in a little bit. Then I'm going to duplicate the 3 mask images and make one layer out of it, so I can use the dodge tool just to pull a bit of the imagery out so it pops, using shadows, midtones and highlights on the dodge tool. So using adjustment layer levels, I'm just going to lighten it up and punch that imagery a bit further, just so it all sits up on the canvas. And then the very last thing I'll do is I'm just going to duplicate the vignette that I made and make that a bit darker, just overlaying it over the original one that I did, and just play around with it until I'm happy with it. Let's turn things on, have a look, just switch a few layers on and off, have a look. I'm happy with that. That's the finished thing. So that's it, Agent Milo, 3 of him. Yeah, baby. So here he is, the finished piece, Agent Milo. Messed with a little, flipped, restitched. There's 3 of him looking out for you, watching over you, making sure you're alright, because he's a dude. So there you go, Agent Milo. He's a bit of a dude, yeah. He kind of represents all that's good in the world. He's like someone that watches out for you. Looks over you, makes sure you're alright. That's kind of the idea that I have for him in my head. Yeah, he's a bit of a dude. Yeah. Anyway, I really hope you've enjoyed this. Thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching this video. Hit subscribe if you've not already, that'd be brilliant to have you on board. Hit the bell if you want updates for when I post my videos. Certainly hit like if you've liked this video, that'd be superb. And definitely drop by again. I'll see you soon. Take care, bye for now.